On a frigid afternoon, inside the small log cabin nestled deep in the forest, Ranger Liam crouched near the wood stove, carefully arranging logs as a warm cup of tea steamed in his hands. The cabin was quiet, the only sounds the gentle hiss of fire and the soft crackle of wood. Suddenly, a loud, deliberate thump, thump, thump rattled the front door. It was not the wind. The sound was urgent, purposeful. Liam froze instantly. His body tensed, muscles coiled like springs. In one swift motion he rose, gripping the cool iron of the fire poker. Moving silently across the wooden floor, his boots making no sound, he approached the door. It had a small circular window at eye level, a single pane of thick glass fogged with condensation. Liam wiped it clear and pressed his eye against it. His blood turned cold. On the porch stood a female black panther. Her sleek, dark body was hunched against the biting winter wind. Her belly was unmistakably swollen, pregnant. She shivered violently, every tremor a stark image of discomfort and pain. Liam's gaze shifted to her front leg. The fur had been rubbed raw, revealing red, inflamed skin beneath. There was no bleeding, but it was painfully clear that every step hurt her. All at once, every warning he had ever learned about wild predators screamed in his mind. Do not open the door. It's a trap. She could kill you in an instant. But then he looked into her eyes. There was no malice there, no threat, only an intelligent, desperate plea that cut through his fear. He inhaled deeply, letting his heartbeat slow. Then, decisively, he slid the iron bolt, the sound echoing through the cabin, and pulled the door open. The panther stepped back slightly, releasing a low grunt as she shifted weight onto her injured leg. She made no attempt to rush inside, no attempt to attack. Instead, she did something startling. She turned her head toward the forest, her neck straining, eyes scanning the white chaos. Then she swung her gaze back to Liam, locking onto him with intensity. She repeated this motion, a deliberate look toward the trees, then a desperate, pleading stare at him. It was a message. No words, but clear as daylight. He's out there. I cannot reach him. You must help. Without hesitation, Liam slammed the door, dropped the poker with a clang, and acted. Years of training condensed into instinct. He grabbed his heavy parka, slipped on insulated boots, and snatched the emergency med kit from the shelf. Within moments, he was outside. The panther waited, limping slightly, her body tense. As soon as she saw him, she began to move, navigating the deep snow with a painful, rhythmic stagger. Liam followed. The storm roared around them. Snow whipped sideways, visibility dropped to nearly nothing. Liam kept his eyes on her. She moved with purpose, every few meters pausing, glancing back at him, ensuring he followed. She led him down a steep, jagged embankment into a shallow ravine, partially shielded from the merciless wind. There, wedged between two immense boulders, was her mate. The male panther was a striking figure, black muscle rippling beneath sleek fur. His back leg was trapped in a narrow crevice, swollen and bruised. He groaned softly as Liam approached, shifting slightly before stopping in pain. Liam's heart sank. The rocks were massive, hundreds of pounds of unyielding granite. He pushed with all his strength, but they didn't budge. He looked at the pair of them, the female, desperate and injured, and the trapped male, and a sense of hopelessness threatened to paralyze him. He couldn't lift him. He couldn't move the rocks. But then a plan crystallized. He gestured back toward the cabin, then at himself, then at the male panther, miming pulling. "The cart!" he shouted over the wind. "I'll get the cart. Don't move." With urgency burning in his chest, he scrambled back up the ravine, fighting the snow and wind. Inside the cabin, he ignored the warmth of the fire and made straight for the heavy, two-wheeled wooden cart. He dragged it out, the iron rims sinking into drifts, and made the grueling journey back. Back at the ravine, Liam found a thick, sturdy log, nearly 6 feet long. He jammed it into the crevice beneath the boulder and used a smaller rock as a fulcrum. Planting his weight firmly, he pressed down. The log groaned under the strain, bending slightly, then he reset and applied all his strength again. Slowly, agonizingly, the boulder shifted, just a few inches, and The male panther pulled his leg free and collapsed onto the snow. Now came the next challenge. The male's weight was immense. Liam grabbed the loose scruff of the neck, lifted the front half onto the cart, bracing it as it tilted precariously, then heaved the hindquarters onto the wooden platform. He grasped the handles, muscles screaming, and began the torturous pull back to the cabin. The female stayed close, limping faithfully, never leaving her mate's side. Inside, Liam carefully eased the male panther onto a thick pile of blankets near the hearth. He opened his med kit, applying a cold compress to the swollen joint before wrapping it gently with support bandages. The male exhaled a shuddering sigh, finally surrendering to an exhausted sleep. For a moment, the cabin fell silent. Then a soft, pained whimper cut through the quiet. The female paced, circling, pawing at the floor. Her body tensed. Liam understood immediately. She was going into labor. Slowly, carefully, he shifted back, giving her space. He watched in awe as instinct took over. In the flickering firelight, a tiny cub emerged, wet and squirming. The mother's rough tongue cleaned it with surprising gentleness. Moments later, a second cub followed. She curled around them, protective, instinctive. The male stirred, lifting his head, eyes softening as he saw the new life. A deep, contented purr rumbled from his chest, filling the cabin with warmth. In the days that followed, Liam established a quiet routine, leaving food and water near the door, tending the fire, and checking the male's leg from a distance. The panther family thrived, a small, self-contained world around the hearth. The male recovered, eventually walking with only a faint limp, the cubs opening their eyes and taking wobbly first steps. Nearly 2 weeks later, Liam opened the door to the forest's clean, cold air. The male stepped to the threshold, then back to his mate. She understood. Gently, she picked up the cubs one by one and, as a family, they stepped into the wild. She paused, looking back at Liam, eyes steady and clear, a silent acknowledgement of his help. Then, without a sound, the family disappeared into the forest, leaving the cabin silent once more.